Hey, Bigpod.
What?
We need to record this episode and get it done in a hurry.
Yeah,
We've got more important things to do right now.
definitely.
Yeah. World of Warcraft has just released early access for their Midnight expansion, and you talked me into spending the additional money to pay for the early access because, heaven forbid, the only thing I have left to do is to level characters. So I'm out of content otherwise to do in the game.
Let's be clear. By tomorrow, you probably would have bought it anyway, so I didn't really do that much damage.
That's probably true because I would watch like a YouTube video of a guy going through the early access stuff, and I would just be pissed off and go like, "You're already spoiling things. It's time for me to do this myself."
Or you would listen to me after the recording.
Or I would have just actually most likely I probably would have just sat there and just waited until Monday for like normal release.
I highly doubt that, knowing you.
Cue the music. Hey guys, welcome to No Tux Allowed. Today, I am here, and I am Josh, and I have brought Bigpod, who is also present.
Hello.
You hear him typing away on his keyboard. It's because he's currently distracted because we were talking about things, and then we were talking about sodas, but it's fine. It's fine.
I think I'm gonna need to fix some stuff.
You always need to fix things. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stop breaking things.
Yeah.
I literally haven't. I haven't done.
I'm gonna fix it.
Okay, good, because I haven't done anything to the server, so it's not my fault. Okay, so Bigpod, we're gonna be talking about the U.S. military today.
Oh, really?
Yep. They're having issues with telemetry data.
Oh, great.
Yep.
That doesn't sound good.
Nope. And then of course we were talking about the idea of putting a data center and a satellite sticking it way high in the sky. Then we got Meta purchasing shares in AMD.
Oh.
At the same time, with an employee of Meta installing an AI agent onto her email client and then watching it delete her entire inbox. So let's get on the show. Of course. Shirt Meta. I'm wearing a gray t-shirt.
And I'm wearing a black t-shirt with a bit of text that is actually just logo and text of the manufacturer.
A self-branded t-shirt. You shill.
It's something I grabbed off the rack in the store.
Okay. So, let's start with our first topic of the day. According to a recent study by the Army Cyber Institute of West Point, corporate surveillance has deeply infiltrated the U.S. Army's unclassified IT infrastructure for the United States.
Oh, really?
Yep. The researchers published a paper that is available. They have declined all requests for interview. I've tried finding, and of course, the article that I have linked in the description is probably like the best cited one, but I haven't been able to find like an interview done by these guys at all, which is typical for U.S. military and cybersecurity stuff. Yeah. But they in this report they have mentioned that of the 1,000 most recently requested internet resources on just over military networks for a 2-month period, 21.2% were all just tracker domains. Oh, this is just checking DNS log entries, which I'm not surprised by, because how many tracker domains does like Google have? Like you log into the YouTube app, how many different domains are you talking to at once?
Many.
Yeah. There's probably at least 20 right there.
Yeah.
And of course, a follow-up data set has showed that trackers have made up a total of 19% of the top domains, and they accounted for 42% of web requests. Now, So let's break this topic down here for a little bit. When we're talking about a domain, that's like the address that you enter into the search bar of your
Yeah,
web browser.
so
Like so like tracker.com.
Nextcloud.tuxbase.com, for example, or google.com. That's the domain
Yeah.
name.
Yep, actual domain names. That's what we're talking about. Now,
Yeah.
they're finding that about one of every five are just going to like these various trackers, and then when they're talking about like the follow up data sheet with the top domains overall, that's just what it is. It's just like the first number came from like a 2 month snapshot, and then the 19% is just like of the entire thing that they were looking at. And then as for when we're talking about web requests, let's just say that you go to Google and you type in your search bar a search query and then hit enter. That's then going, as soon as you hit enter, your computer is going to send a request out to Google saying that, hey, here's this blurb of text. I want you to give me all the results that match this blurb
Actually,
of text.
I don't think that's correct. I think it does for every letter.
Well, yeah, it does it for every letter and but yeah, pretty much. And then Google will then come back and then submit back the results to you. That's basically what a request is. You're requesting the website to do a thing over the web or the internet, which the web runs on the internet. They're separate things. But there's been several years where I've been seeing this information come out with, the rise of the smartphone being just generally allowed in the United States military.
Yeah.
So obviously with that, you're going to see people using smartphone apps such as, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Also, surprisingly, TikTok is showing up as well. Which is a big no-no. They're not supposed to be using TikTok at all. Because rules. But this, I've also seen like reports of, the telemetry data also revealing like U.S. secret base locations. With like
Really?
because of like fitness tracking apps, they index your geolocation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Strava
yeah.
problem. Oh,
Yep.
yeah, the Strava problem.
That came out a few years ago, but it kind of makes me wonder. The U.S. military is famous for just posting these, but have you heard of like any of the military forces in like Europe that are running into this? Well, besides like Ukraine and Russia, but like running
No.
similar issues.
As far as I know, there is nothing. Or if there is, they just don't. They're just not saying it.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting, but it kind of makes me wonder, like, how much, like, if, World War III happens,
Yeah.
if it happens, how much
Which
is
every day were more
how much more
likely.
how much more valuable is like this data going to be for like enemy forces to utilize? That's what I'm wondering.
Very, very, very likely.
Yeah. And of course, I'm not saying this from like the perspective of just America, but like any country or like military personnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very likely that we're gonna get screwed by this floating data. Like we see in Ukraine, how much even just having phones literally makes you more vulnerable to being hit by a drone. Having a mobile phone, just how much more vulnerable you are, especially if everybody has a mobile phone. And with mobile phone being one of the main sources of communication, you need to have one.
Yeah, and for the record, if you don't have any of these apps on your phone, they could just simply track the radio frequencies.
The fact that phones use radios like long range radios like mobile signals is enough that if you have 5-6 phones at same location, you're like a beacon to somebody who is tracking those radio signals. Wi-Fi, as far as I understand, isn't as bad since it's a lot more low range, and it's like
Yeah, well,
everything is covered by it.
Yeah, the concern is the 5G chip, the
Yeah,
LTE module, and
5G,
so on.
LTE, even 3G. Like when you take your phone and make a call through that chip, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Not that like if you use like Wi-Fi you built over like Wi-Fi mesh you built over the battlefield, which is what we probably should be doing across entirety of our countries in Europe at this point, if you ask me. Have a giant mesh of many redundant, basically in forest every tree should have its own Wi-Fi antenna. That sounds funny, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the future of warfare is looking extremely, extremely complicated compared to. So, it was posted initially by like Mr. Musk,
Yes.
and it's also been picked up by Mr. Bezos, Mr. Jensen Huang, Altman, and Sundar Pichai. So
Basically everybody who has a large data center or sells graphics cards.
everybody called Tech Bro currently. So
Yeah.
we got those people talking about it, and so there was a very public gut reaction. Go, this is terrible idea. But we got
a lot of like YouTubers and people like that, like science YouTubers who are like physics and shit, are like saying no, that's not possible, or no, it's improbable that will work.
Yeah, well,
I am not a physics YouTuber. I'm not a physicist. Neither most of those are, but let's be clear, let's be honest. But I am a satellite, rockets, and space enthusiast. And I can clearly tell you it works. Yeah, it's not the most practical solution, but guess what? Neither are data centers on Earth.
that's true. So for some prompting on memories, there was a company named Microsoft that several years ago, quite famously, built a data center and then stuck it in the middle of the ocean. They came out with some studies from that saying that, hey, this wasn't as terrible of an idea as everybody thought it would be.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that the number one maintenance task that comes with data centers is from, people being in the data center.
Yep.
Because you got to remember, most dust that you get is generated by, dead skin cells of living things.
Yeah, you
not
get
necessarily humans, but
because your data center isn't hermetically sealed, which is what you need to have in space or underwater. And the second problem is you need to have an atmosphere inside that humans can live
breathe.
in.
Yeah.
So you need 20% oxygen. You know what oxygen likes to do to metals, Josh?
It likes to oxidize them. That's why we call it oxidize.
They like to react with them and make corrosion by oxidizing.
Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of the fancy hard disks that you can buy off the shelf are helium filled.
Yes.
Not rather than, just air pressurized. So, when they Microsoft did the study, I believe that they used nitrogen rather than oxygen to fill like their data centers, which they said that yes, they did still see like disk failures, but the failures came later in the disk life compared to how it would normally be. But there are just a few question marks that we do have about these satellite systems, right?
Yeah.
The very first one that probably most people are going to have is power. Obviously, satellites are powered via solar power.
Yeah.
Not really an issue.
That's a super thing to have. Like, they have to have less solar cells compared to being on Earth for the same amount of compute, because the one of the problems of solar panels on Earth is that you have this thing called atmosphere in between sun and down on the ground of the Earth. They've got to be a lot more efficient, a lot better for whatever use you have.
Yeah, and for the record, most satellites, especially like low Earth satellites, they rotate around the Earth pretty quickly, so you don't have to worry about it getting stuck in like the dark side of the Earth.
Yeah.
I think it takes I think Starlink put out this call saying that it averages somewhere between like 90 to 120 minutes or so to do like a complete circumference of the Earth.
Uh,
So
the space station does 17 laps around Earth uh, every day. I believe it's
yeah,
17. Because
something like
and it
that.
has a variable, has a apoapsis that is much bigger than its the apogee is much bigger than its perigee on in that loop, so they aren't just at the same height. This would probably be a perfect circle, or almost a perfect circle of an what's it called of an orbit, because well that makes sense for data reasons. So it would most likely be quite exact, and like take even less time than
Yeah,
what
even
space
then,
station does.
even then, this might not just be like one satellite. It'll probably be a cluster of satellites if
Yes,
we're being serious about
it's
this. So
gonna
it's
be
going to be
what is known as a shell.
yeah. So it's going to be a cluster of satellites that are probably spread over over into a network.
Entirety of like Earth's Earth's closer space, like a shell essentially.
Yeah,
The actual like ask for FCC was for a million such satellites over next X many years
yep,
by only SpaceX, which
yeah.
means how many satellites would others want, like Sundar Pichai of Google or Satya Nadella of Microsoft.
Or if this turns out to be like a good project, what other nations are going to be putting
Yeah.
the satellites like this up in the sky?
And remember,
It
and since we were previously talking about military use, having a data center or data centers in space is a basically a military boon, because that data center, no matter where you are, all you need to do is set up an antenna, which you're already setting up to access your military network.
yep.
You're just gonna point it separately, or have another antenna that access your data center network, and you're gonna have compute at the fingertips without having to actually trust anything but your closest to you data center.
Yeah, it'll just be like the new GPS system. It's just
Yeah,
computer on a chip that probably costs you less than a penny to make.
yeah,
So we've that's not terrible, and of course that gets us on to the next step. It's just like, how are we communicating with these over high speed? Because you got to remember, like HTTPS certificates and all that, it has timing restrictions. Back in the days
yeah.
of
But those don't
me,
matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not like we're talking over like satellite communication links, because Starlink exists. We've had
Yes.
high speed communication with low with satellites on Earth, because they're closer to us. So
So
we
the
could actually
big
get a pretty good speed out of this.
yes, the big problem with satellite communications of older days, the satellite internet or older days, was the problem was that first of all they were far away. We're talking here about satellites being in a 300-kilometer orbit, which is basically there. Basically,
Yeah,
it's not even across some countries.
yeah, we're
It's
talking about like
it's a stone's throw for space communication. It's whereas your standard satellite internet is at 60,000 kilometers and up. So we're
yeah,
talking about multitude of times higher pings, because radio signals go at speed of light. So if you're having 45 millisecond ping from you to some server, you're gonna have, let's say, 30 milliseconds times what? 200. That's how you get your communication in reality. Because remember, it's here and back that you need to think about. When your data center satellite is in space and you communicate via space, that means it doesn't have to go back down to the actual like data center. Just go up, there, and back instead of going up, down, up, and down, which will basically halve the connection speed, even if they are in like a 1,000-kilometer orbit or even 10,000-kilometer orbit. It will be still a hell of a lot faster compared to any kind of satellite internet of the olden days.
Yeah. So, what the only actual barrier then is just cost,
Yes.
and that's just going to get cheaper with more industrialization, because
That-
you got to remember when it comes to satellites, there is like a whole industrial chain for like producing satellites.
Yeah.
Yes, but not quite. But it's not quite tooled for like spinning up data centers that would just
Yeah.
go up. So like computing satellites, that's just a new industry. So
Yeah,
of course, the new industry is always expensive until like it actually just becomes an already existing thing, and as we scale up production and build up a supply chain to produce these devices, it's just going to get cheaper.
Also remember, like the big cost of this is also that rocket launch you need to do.
Yeah.
Like companies like SpaceX, their whole point is to lower the cost of getting to space. And with things like Starship and things like New Glenn from Jeff Bezos, it's the cost of entry into getting to space is just gonna get lower. And more we launch, better rockets will be, more reliable, and more likely will be like to price to actually lower, and cheaper it's gonna be. And because the rockets like Starship, Falcon 9, and New Glenn are getting more and more reusable, with actual like Starship being supposedly 100% reusable, and New Glenn being first stage reusable, the price goes down significantly. Because I believe it's like for Falcon 9, I believe I read somewhere that after third flight it's basically free. Like the cost of it is basically close to free.
Yeah.
The only thing you're basically paying for is the fuel. Everything else is the profit.
Yeah, fuel,
Because-
and then maybe maintenance tasks that might need to
Yeah.
be done. So like some coolant work, dealing with mechanical wear, which we've been dealing with that stuff for generations.
Yes.
From just like the space shuttle project here in the United States.
So if rocket launches happen on a daily basis, or realistically on like half a day basis, price will go down just as much as rockets go up, straight up or
Yep.
straight down. And then it won't just open the avenues for space data centers. It will open avenues for working in space, for long range space travel to the moon, which is what we want in reality, and other such frivolities of space.
Yeah, so let's move on here, because we're going to be talking about like the trigger for this, and we're going to be delving into AI, obviously.
Yes.
So, our first article is more of a finance article than the typical AI hilarity that you and I love talking about, Bigpod.
Yeah.
But of course, we got to talk about like something serious here, as Meta has signed a new deal with AMD that would also include a 10% stake in AMD.
Oh.
Yeah. Because we've talked a lot about Intel. It's time that we talk about AMD's financial situation, which is honestly not bad on any front. But AMD AMD is, of course, much smaller company than Intel. They don't even have their own fabs. Everything is done through TSMC. And, of course, AMD is one of those companies that will probably never die at this rate. So, so obviously, Meta wants to, get in on some of that money that, AMD's getting. This is a rather substantial investment from Meta. And it's honestly, they're buying, they're not necessarily buying AMD to, just buy AMD. But they're wanting to buy that chip allocation that AMD gets access to.
Yeah.
Because they want to build a custom version of the MI450 AI chip, which is an AI processor. So for the chips, because they need them, because Meta's building those data centers. And here's a fun fact for you, Bigpod. The total allocation of this chips is going to require 6 gigawatts of power, which is equivalent to about 5 million U.S. households.
Wow.
And the article pokes a little bit of fun at how this is all being funded, because it turns out to be able to get this money, Meta had to tap into a couple bonds and equity markets to be able to get the $30 billion necessary for this purchase, which means that Meta's stretching for a little bit of liquid cash here.
Yeah.
That's basically what that means. So AI bubble looming a little bit closer.
Possibly.
Or maybe it's just growing a little bit bigger. Who knows? It's just all that money is still going in circles technically.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our hilarious topic here. As you know, a Meta security researcher by the name of Summer Yu decided that she was going to run an AI agent called OpenClaw. And now, let's talk a little bit first of all about how what the benefits of an AI agent is before we get in too deep as to what this one did. So think of it this way, right? You don't like administrating things on your computer, right, Bigpod?
Yeah.
Like I'm certain that your email inbox is probably probably not nearly as cancerous as mine is, but because mine is just straight up cancer, right? So yeah. I have delved into the idea of inbox rules in my email clients, which are
I've done those in past.
Yeah, which are, and you run into like this super lore, and over years of dealing with like these inbox rules, it's a lot like technical debt in like your software stack. Think of it that way, right? Like you got so many rules that are just doing so many things per email that when something goes wrong, you will spend days fixing it. Not kidding.
Yeah.
Now, the idea of an AI agent in this case is that the AI agent will just handle all this stuff automatically. Like, say you want to delete all the emails that are from like this specific email address, and it just supposedly does that, right?
It should.
Theoretically. Now, of course, AI agents can do other things, not just like manage your emails for you, but you can run like an AI agent on like a server and just have it spin up and take down services for you, and so on. That is a thing that other people are talking about, but we're talking specifically about what Miss Yu did. Now, Miss Yu is a AI security researcher specifically. Her job is to make sure that these AI agents are doing things safely.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. And of course she made an oopsie. She sends a prompt to OpenClaw, which is running on her email, saying that, hey, I want you to delete everything that's older than this date, but before you delete it, make sure that you prompt it for me. If it's not already in like a keep list, don't delete it. So she runs that, and OpenClaw then gets to working, and it winds up deleting everything in the inbox.
Yeah, and in the middle of it, she did try to cancel it, but apparently the model isn't one of those ones that in the middle can get like additional instructions, which meant that she had to go and pull the computer that was doing this out of the actual like power for it to shut down and stop the task.
Yeah, so it just kept on going.
Kept on trucking.
Yep. Now, the interesting thing is that she was talking to OpenClaw through like Telegram, which means that this leads to another layer of security problems.
Yeah.
So,
and that is one of the reasons why we are looking into Matrix. If we're ever gonna do that, we want to have a secure chat that we actually control.
A secure chat that we control, and
Yeah.
and has that true end-to-end encryption, right?
Yeah.
Rather than Telegram's model, which is end-to-server encryption, because everything that runs on their server is not encrypted. So,
Yeah.
So the theory, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because, like, what if Telegram gets breached? I don't think it's really happened yet, but they're a big enough target these days that it could, and heaven forbid, that could be an issue.
Yep.
It could be. So, she called this a rookie mistake.
Yeah. At least based on my read of her writing, I think she more laughed than actually was super angry about it, to be honest.
Hopefully the emails that were deleted were either not important or she was able to roll back the inbox.
Yeah. Or they were like old enough that she didn't really care.
Yeah. But it does lead the question of she put specifically in the AI prompt the limitations of what it should do, and the AI just ignored that. So what does that mean for OpenClaw? And is there a better way she could have done the prompt? And should that really be necessary? That's really
one of the
what we
big
need to be
problems
answering
of
here.
current AIs is what is known as context window. So how many characters or how many tokens can there be at one time in its memory? One of the things that she did mention is that in the middle of actually doing this, what it ran was a compaction. So it essentially goes and compacts the context window down into few instructions it extracted from it for the next memory. And well, apparently that didn't compact away her actual that she already didn't yet consent or something like that. And that's a big problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
AI, and my experience, AI gets dumber more filled the context is. And sometimes I'm like at 50% or at 100,000 tokens, it's already so dumb I cannot make it do anything useful.
Yeah, so I'm blanking here for a moment. I had a thought, then I lost it. Rough. So the question is, Bigpod, how long until we have OpenCloud running on our Tuxbase server, managing our entire infrastructure stack? That way you could take a break.
Probably not likely.
Not likely?
For me, my philosophy regarding AI, it is an automation platform currently.
So what you're saying...
I do not think, or I do think that sooner or later we will be able to create an actually intelligent AI. But and please AI don't strike me for this. Right now I don't think it is actually that intelligent. It is a statistical model placing tokens in front of it. So if I get what's that? the basilisk, I forgot the actual name of the guy, then yeah, well, you will know why I got eliminated.
Now that said, I've heard that there's a guy doing a study where like he made an AI bot and he's literally just raising the AI bot like it's a little kid, and he plans on
Yeah.
doing like an 18-year project with this. Okay, so if we're not going to be spinning up OpenClaw on the Tuxbase server, that would just mean that we really just do need to get around to actually hiring a producer. Now,
Yeah.
obviously,
Well,
th-
producer AI, that might not be such a stupid thing. We might actually get to do that.
right.
You just have to
Maybe-
give me a budget for it.
we need the budget for a GPU enabled server,
No,
which is going to
actually not. You need to give me a budget for API access, so I can API access whether it be Claude, OpenAI, Gemini, whatever. Just I need budget for AI API access. So you're gonna need quite a bit of money.
Right.
But I
Which,
don't
of course, it's not like the community is going to help us at all with this by going to
Yes.
patreon.com/notuxallowed or anything like that, right? Where if they just drop us a couple dollars right there, they'll get access to a higher premium quality audio feed, as well as sometimes the occasional piece of bonus content, like the downtime report from our current Nextcloud instance that Bigpod
Which
is
is
totally
still
going to
down.
record. Yeah, he's totally. You have to at this point. You have to give us a downtime report.
Okay, it's down because your server is because our server is a bit bad. I'm gonna fix it. It's server problem actually, not Nextcloud problem.
And of course, the big glory of our show is that is a server that we control.
Yes.
Now we're not posting this show over Spotify for creators or Apple Podcasts. They're syndicating from us, our
Yes.
source of truth, which means that we're going to have downtime with our server like this.
And
And just remember, it's always Bigpod's fault that the server is down. It's never my fault ever. That only happened one time.
Okay. I think I need an AI just so I have somebody to blame. So just somebody else to blame besides me. And
Of course.
if you wanna have a downtime at exactly the same time as we do, you can send us an email at contact@tuxbase.com and we can spin you up a separate instance of Castopod, or even put you on our instance of Castopod, so your podcast will have the same downtime as ours.
And the benefit is that we will receive the email, because that's one thing we refuse to host. So the email is working at least. Because, heaven forbid, I just got the email saying that Tuxbase is down.
Yeah, I shut down the server, and I think it should by now be up and running back, and everything should work or nothing should work. It's a really something too much compute or too little compute for too much stuff.
Nginx is a glorious piece of software. All right,
Yes.
so
I like PHP.
yeah, PHP.
That's a lie.
it's
PHP
the
is glorious horribleness.
It's the perfect language. It was JavaScript before JavaScript.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So obviously you can send us an email there, or if you're with the new age and you still want to talk to us over Discord, just go to tuxbase.com/discord. Maybe not right now, but when the episode releases, that link should work and should get you access to our community Discord server, where you could talk with us and each other, because
Yep.
that's just what you do. That's just what you use Discord for, which is interesting because people do like cool things with Discord. I don't particularly care for it, but hey, you know what? It's whatever. I'm still not going to pay for Nitro anytime soon. Sorry, Discord. So, and of course, we have our own YouTube channels. I actually got some authorization, so I might actually release an episode on the tenleyj.com YouTube channel. Who knows? I might just rewatch the video and go like, yeah, this one's garbage, and I'm going to re-record it. because opinions might have changed. Might have.
Yeah.
And of course, Bigpod, you've also got your own YouTube channel. You were just talking about getting a fancy new camera, which might incentivize you to recording. What would be the first thing you record?
First thing I record, my opinion on Samsung DeX.
Samsung DeX. That's something I've toyed around with that I haven't used in a while.
Yeah, that's my like thing I've been using on and off, and I do already made a what is called a script. All I need to do is talk to the camera about it, and yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's it for the show this week. We're gonna go play some World of Warcraft now.
Yeah, and I'm
See you
gonna
later.
try and fix the servers. See you later, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.